Praise the Lord, children. Lesson number 5, Roaming Around. Bible portion is from Genesis chapter 33 verse 18, chapter 34 verses 1, 3 to 6 and 8 to 30. Memory verse is from 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 11. Let a woman learn in silence with all submission. Theme of this lesson is we should not be roaming around. Jacob with his family moved to Shechem, bought land, and his family dwelt in that land. Dinah, the only daughter of Jacob and Leah, took a trip into the town to visit the woman of the land. She traveled alone. During her travels, Dinah was seen by a young man named Shechem. Shechem was the son of Hamor the Hivite, the ruler of that area. Shechem kidnapped Dinah, defiled her, and then kept her locked up, and then he began to have feelings for her. He says he even fell in love with her. Then Shechem left to find his father. His plan was to negotiate with Dinah's family so that he could keep her as his wife, and he demanded that his father make it happen. There was no indication of regret or remorse from Shechem. Hamor, the ruler of the city of Shechem, had a problem. His son Shechem took Dinah, the daughter of the peaceful tribe living outside of their city, and forced himself on her. Now, his son informed him that he wanted to take Dinah as a wife. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this girl for my wife." As Hamor heard the news and determined his course of action, Dinah's father Jacob also found out about the situation. Jacob heard the terrible report while all of his sons were working with the flocks out in the fields. So he held back and waited for his sons to return. Jacob's sons come back from the field, found out what happened to their sister, and they were furious. This should not have happened. What could they do? As the terrible news was discovered and discussed, Hamor arrived with the very perpetrator of the crime. Shechem came with his father to participate in the negotiations. Hamor spoke to Jacob and his sons, inviting them to come together, settle in, intermarry, and trade, for the land was open to them. Shechem spoke up and put it in no uncertain terms. He loved their sister and was unwilling to pay whatever price they wanted. Hamor and Shechem was conciliatory, inviting and welcoming, but Jacob's sons were furious at this man who had violated their sister and then came to discuss a bride price. They had no intention of accepting their offer. Instead, they formulated a plan to rescue their sister and enact revenge. A handful of young men against an entire city. Their plan began to unfold as they stipulated their conditions to Hamor and his son Shechem. They agreed to becoming one people with those living in Shechem if all of the men living there were circumcised. Hamor and Shechem presented the deal to the men of the city. The men of the city had their eyes on the daughters of the tribe of Jacob and all the assets of the tribe, livestock, property, and beasts. After hearing the deal, they agreed and proceeded accordingly. With the men of Shechem weakened, the sons of Jacob took action. This is a daring rescue two men against a whole city. But it doesn't end here. As retribution for defiling their sister, the sons of Jacob went into the city of Shechem and plundered it. These are the very same items that Hamor and Shechem promised the men of the city of Shechem by agreeing to be circumcised. Now the sons of Jacob returned to the camp with everything they had plundered from the city of Shechem, and Jacob was not pleased. He informed his sons in no uncertain terms that this was going to cause serious trouble and potentially endanger everyone. But Simeon and Levi's response made it clear that they were not ashamed of their actions. The honor of their sister mattered most. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and Perizzites. And since I am few in number, they will gather themselves together against me and kill me. I shall be destroyed, my household and I. If we live according to our wish, the fragrance of the name of God and our parents will be spoiled. So we must be careful in each and every walk of our life." Thank you, children.